Hello everyone, welcome to the Tree of Scientia. This photo is probably so familiar to the psychology students in the university or anyone that took Psychology 101. It was taken in 1951. The students gathering around the table are Swarthmore College students who think that they were attending in a visual memory test. The man standing on the right side is Solomon Asch, one of the well-known people in psychology world, and we could say that the reason are these sticks. Yes, these students are shown cards on which there are sticks classified as A, B and C. And then later, a card on which there is one single stick is shown. Solomon Asch asked his students, and let's ask you as well, which of these sticks are the same with the single one? You may say, what kind of a question is this? Everyone knows that. So all the students there would say C and go home, right? No. Solomon Asch deducted such an important social implication out of these sticks. He proved that the thing was not the sticks but a different mechanism that was grained much more in the deep. Let's see which stick would you choose if you were there. First, I want you to describe yourself. How do you see yourself among a group of people or in the society? Easygoing or rebellious? A follower that follows people or a gainsayer who destroys the norms? Many people consider themselves as rebellious. A person who doesn't hesitate to raise a voice against anything wrong in a group, even though doesn't raise a voice, as someone who acknowledges it without a doubt when there is something wrong. Now put yourself in the position of the students who attended the visual memory test. There are people like you around and you're told to detect the identical sticks. However, you are on the back row and all the students have to answer one by one until you're next. At first, there is no problem. All the students choose the stick that you have in mind. However, all of a sudden, some of them choose another like they are all agree on all hands. Now it is your turn. What would you do? Submission, as in formal term conformity. It is defined as the tendency a person has to obey the unwritten rules or behavior pattern of the group that one belongs to. This is a topic psychology, sociology, and politics pay attention to for a long time. Asch conformity is one of the major studies in this field. It is one of the studies that show how strong the pressure made by the crowd can be. Let's look at the details of the test first and then look at the striking results and what it means for us. First of all, some of the attendance of this test was collaborative, meaning arranged attendance pretending to be students. There was only one person who didn't know about this arrangement and genuinely thinks he was a part of an actual test. The other attendants were told how they had to behave beforehand and thus they were going to be able to test how this behavior would affect the real one student. In each test, the student was put in a room with different students, different than the attendance of the previous test. This student was told it would be just a visual memory test. As I told earlier, the arranged attendants were told which stick they had to choose beforehand. 18 sessions were held and in 12 sessions out of 18, the arranged attendants chose the wrong stick as they were told before. Solomon Asch named these studies critic tests because they analyzed if the real attendant would change his answer according to the choices of other students. For the very reason, the attendants gave correct answers in the beginning of the test in order to gain the trust of the subject. As the sessions continue, they started choosing the wrong answers. By the way, as you can understand, the test is quite simple. Everyone can detect the right answer at first sight. Nevertheless, for the sake of trust, Asch directed a control test in the beginning. He made all the attendants give their answer written without affecting each other. Of course, the result was 90% correct. So there wasn't a situation that requires a high capacity to resolve. However, when the test began, that wasn't the case. At least once, 75% of the subjects tend to follow others' answers. They prefer to give the same answers with the group, even they have to forsake their own values and decisions. 75%. This is a huge amount. Even for such a simple test, people are afraid of being excluded from the group as disagreeable. Naturally, there are so many variables in this study. For instance, the number of the subjects, meaning the size of the group. Researchers look into that as well, of course. Per se, when there was just one real subject and one arranged attendant, the real subject's answers were not affected at all. However, when there were 3 and more subjects, the tendency to follow the group increased dramatically. For me, one of the remarkable results was this. Even just one person gives the right answer beside you, the tendency to act the same with the group decreases to 1% from 75. When the subject finds an alliance, his self-esteem and tendency to speak up his mind increase. In the interviews made after the study, they told that it made them feel more comfortable about giving the right answer when there were others who were agree with them. They were asked in these interviews why they preferred to follow the group. The most common answer was this: I knew that everyone gave the wrong answer, but the fear of humiliation predominated. Some of them even said, I thought they had the right answer. I must be wrong if so many people think otherwise. So we come to that conclusion. People tend to act like the group does, mainly because of, first, they are afraid of being humiliating and excluded. However, more importantly, they basically think others answer more cleverly. The crucial point appears when we apply this effect to the real life. Even with such an easy test made within such small group, the tendency to behave the same with the group affects people's lives dramatically in terms of their daily lives, social relationships, education, and even politics in all over the world. When we elaborate this tendency to act like the group, we get this. The bigger the society we live in, the higher the tendency to behave the same with the group. In addition, with this study, even though the subject for which you have to make a choice, people can't help giving the same answers with others. When the subject you have to decide upon gets more complicated, you believe more in the ability of others to decide better than you. Nonetheless, class differences arise as well. If you believe the participants in the group have a higher social status than you would question their ability to decide less. However, this effect shows itself in different ways. No matter how much we want to regard ourselves as different or rebellious, this tendency is engraved in the deep. As it is described as Kitty Genovese syndrome, the tendency to help someone in need when we are alone is higher than when there is a crowd around. When the amount of people increase, we hesitate to help. We can take modern life. Especially social platforms like Twitter are such suitable examples for such situation. When we look into these websites in order to get the news, our opinion towards an event can totally change in according to others' opinion of the matter. Sometimes you even doubt yourselves. These thousands of accounts may be directed by a single place you know. So you may be under this effect as a result of the fear of humiliation or because of the belief that the group is more competent, or you may be even a victim of social engineering. However, there is one common thing in such studies. One discordant voice, one rebel, one person who raises one's voice and takes action, who is not afraid to take a step and says, "Wait a minute, something is wrong here," even when there are thousands who follow a wrong decision. That one person who changes everything makes all the difference. So the social group you are in, social trends, or someone you are sure of their competence could be wrong. Therefore, sometimes it is necessary to think twice, discuss and say that something is wrong here. Until we meet again, stay healthy and happy.